You are now entering Hell in the Pod. Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Gio Gump, and welcome back to another installment of Hell in the Pod. Today, we got here with us everybody's favorite terrorist, the master of the $5 face slaps, the hacker himself, bin Hamin. How you doing, brother?
What was that pathetic opening? Hear me now. CEW about to kick off. Hacker Hamin, the infidel supreme, Gio the Gump. That's right. He's got a box of chocolates for you, and he'll run right away, infidels, because it's Hacker Hamin taking over the airwaves. Here, CEW's YOLO. That's how it's done, idiots.
I guess so. Listen, if you haven't heard from him before, you know that voice, whether you're watching the video or listening on Spotify. First and foremost, Ben, I'll ask everybody this question. What's the earliest memory of pro wrestling?
Yes, well, I better put on the CIA persona because they're looking for us now, Gio the Gump. So, Hacker Hamin, disengage. I'm here. First would be Andre the Giant. The biggest impression. Hulk Hogan was wrestling Killer Khan, and my father and I were seventh row, and Andre came down and stopped right next to us in Syracuse at the War Memorial. So it was a good time, man, and I don't think I missed a week of wrestling since then. That's awesome. That's 39 years.
Yeah, man. So Andre the Giant has a giant impact on Ben Hamin, and that basically, I mean, I've had moments in my life where I've got the handshake at the ringside and whatnot. I bet that was like a change of motion in your life for pro wrestling.
Well, so I grew up, my dad was a pro lumberjack competitor, so I grew up around guys that looked like they should be on WWE like my whole life. So when you see Andre the Giant, or these guys I've seen around my dad, even when I was a kid, you know, pro athletes in timber sports, and then those guys are the giants in your life. And then Andre comes down and stands next to him, and his fingers were about that much longer than a normal human's, like these huge lumberjacks I know. It was life-changing, dude. It was like some evolutionary scale, I guess, you know.
No, 100%. And I mean, it's just cool that it's Andre, too.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the most significant to wrestling history of all time, and he's the one who kind of influences and changes.
And with the conspiracy horseman stuff, if you guys don't know, get it while you can before YouTube bans it all. Giants are one of my favorite conspiracies of being covered up by the Smithsonian and the Vatican, and even Abraham Lincoln talking about them in the Niagara Falls, Ohio Valley area, I think is incredible. And I've talked to some top people that have investigated giants. Tim Alberino, phenomenal. Kind of modern day Indiana Jones, really. One of my favorite interviews ever with the Conspiracy Horseman, actually. And he's been to Sardinia and done interviews where the people there, farmers, find them in their fields and took them away. So, like the Vatican and came and took them away. So even that moment with Andre, like, had major influence on me in other ways aside from wrestling.
Not just pro wrestling, which is really cool because, I mean, full circle moments. We love that. And it's really cool, like you said, the lumberjacks being huge in your life and these big men, and then they stand next to him. And then all the history. I mean, we all got deeper things that we're kind of nerds about, and, you know, giants and things like that. So what were some of your favorite matches to watch growing up?
I was a Bret Hart guy through and through. My younger brother was a Shawn guy, so there was HBK. So it was always that rivalry during that time. So I loved all that, and I'm an original like ECW fanatic. So even though I'm one of the best heels to ever do it,
Facts.
I always kind of like these hardworking man's men baby faces, which kind of goes back to that. My father's influence, he's a chop wood, carry water, put your boots on, do the job till it's done, and don't tell anybody that's on your staff to do anything that you wouldn't jump in that hole and dig with them.
Great advice.
And to me, that is kind of the ethos of Bret Hart, Tommy Dreamer, Dusty Rhodes, but I also liked guys who could cut the crazy promo. The baby faces who are always on top, like I have massive respect for them. But as a fan, when I was coming up, like Macho and Hogan, yeah, I liked it, but it wasn't. Those weren't my guys. I liked the mid carders, like a Mr. Perfect, a Rick Rude, a Jake the Snake Roberts. All those guys were the dudes I was way more into to watch than what was going on before the big leg drop was coming, you know?
Right, drew you to the sport beyond,
Yeah.
you know, just the bigger guys like Macho and stuff. And since, you know, he said one of the best heels to ever do it right here, who was one of your favorite heels ever of all time? Or you can give me top 3. That's what Blaze did, so.
Yeah, well, probably the guy that had the most influence of Vince McMahon. I think Vince McMahon
Hell yeah.
is. And even
He's still a heel now.
Yeah, he's a shoot heel, right? So, and it's been strange where I've never met him face to face, but I've had to angle around him to get my ideas to him. And, you know, working with Vince Russo was an incredible experience. We can talk that later. But other heels that I loved were Roddy Piper, and to get to be one of the last guys to do Piper's Pit and 2CW was, it is the highlight of my career, one of the top 3 moments of my career, no doubt. And whipped the shit out of me, I don't know, 19, 20 times with the belt at the end. And of course, Dick Justice was involved.
Dick Justice.
I had kidnapped Jessica Havoc. Shout out to Wife 121. And yeah, it was a good time, man, until he took the belt off and laid the straps to me. But Piper, absolutely. And Bobby Heenan, really, to be honest with you, because I came up and started at OVW as a manager and a writer, and there's nobody probably better in the history of wrestling as a heel who understands how to get heat, and you keep playing that until you finally pay it off in a major way. And one of the greatest to ever do it on the mic, and one of the greatest improvisers on commentary of all time. The greatest improviser on commentary of all time.
100%. And, I mean, heels always had a fond just spot in my heart, too.
Yeah.
And it's cool because, I mean, you're on the generation before me. It was Triple H being, like, the best heel. I hated Eric Bischoff when he came over. Like, I can't stand him still till this day just because of 3 minutes, entertain me. Like, the heel, and like you said before, too, he's, like, one of the best heels to do it. Captivated by Ben Hamin. Like, he comes out, and if you're at a show, there's not one person not booing. There's not one person who does not want to put that hand up and want him out of there or see him get his ass kicked. So it's really cool to hear who your influences were and then know your work.
Yeah,
so
man.
that's really awesome.
I mean, all those other guys I mentioned from, I mean, you can go right down the list of Perfect and Rick Rude and absolutely Triple H, even starting as a Connecticut blue blood and turning into a corporate heel. That guy worked his ass off at Killer Kowalski's. A lot of people are like, oh, he married into it. No, that guy is the same story. 11 years old, fanatic, and carried bags and got in with the clique. And now he knows where all the bodies are buried, you know. So I'm sure sometimes he wishes he wasn't, but right now he's the guy in control over there. And at least it's a wrestler who came up all the way, paying all the dues and understands it from every aspect, as opposed to somebody who was kind of nepotism, like your dad gives you $150 million to start a wrestling company, but you've never been between the ropes.
Right, yeah,
you know?
100%.
So I give them all due respect that way, and one of the most cutthroat politicians, but also a great mentor to a lot of people that I know as well. So
yeah, that's awesome. I love watching the evolution, funny enough, of Triple H.
It's a mystery. It's a change that nobody sees.
But so coming from that, man, your heels, all that. When did you decide? At what age? Like, I'm gonna be a professional wrestler.
Yeah, man. I would probably say, when did I decide? It was later. It's something I always had wanted to do, but you know, after I went to college, your mom goes to college. I was doing improvisation a lot, and we were selling out shows, 500 seats. And some of my great friends had gone to Chicago, which is the mecca of improv, and come back and said, hey, we should go here. Actually, some people from Second City came and did a show, and we did a workshop with them, and I had a really good day that day. And they had told me too, like, you got to go west, young man. So right in 1999, 2000, I packed up and had gotten a job at a big marketing firm downtown, and all night and every day I was doing improv anytime I could at Improv Olympic training. And I brought out 6 people from our show in Fredonia, which is still going on now. Random Acts, 25 years later, we were the first crop to come through. And out of that is now Second City performers. If you've heard of Nice Peter from Epic Rap Battles of History, that's my dude from college. I mean, he was number 2 on YouTube.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And they're on tour in Europe right now. Shout out to Epic Lloyd and Nice Peter. And, my friend Marissa, who kind of started it all, is a manager of people on Saturday Night Live and all your favorite shows on Fox. So from that small group of performers, of have-nots, of going to Chicago, another 20-year overnight success, right? So it's about going and finding the best people and putting yourself alongside them and training, and that's where everybody came from. The same stages: Chris Farley, Mike Myers, Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, the list goes on and on, right? And at any time, those people can show up, or you're the next crop to get those spots. So it's very much like independent pro wrestling and comedy there. You're paying your dues, you're doing your best work probably before you have to go work for the networks and then do what they want you to do on Comedy Central, But I was doing a show with Jordan Klepper, who is on The Daily Show now and hosts The Daily Show. It was kind of his show to get ready to go to that next level. And Ed Ferraro was on there as the guest, and I was a wrestling mark and fanatic and was doing podcasts at that time, even back then, or the Dirt Sheet stuff. Yeah, real early internet, 2005, right there, So Ed Ferraro and I closed the bar down after I did some like lucha sketches and other walk-on stuff for the show they wanted me to do. And he's like, all I wanted to do was take improvisations, fundamentals to wrestling, and he said, you got to go to OVW. And it felt very much like when the Second City people came and told me I had to go there, like this was the next big pivotal thing. So at 26, 27 years old, I went to ECW One Night Stand in WrestleMania. I went to the part 2 at Hammerstein. John Cena, Rob Van Dam, awesome. Yep. I'm 7th row hard cam with the Brock Lesnar jersey on, if you want.
That's amazing. I'm pulling that up. I'm going to put it right here.
Go ahead. Yeah. Very young me, and I was making money in Chicago, and I was like, you know what? It's time to go and do the next thing. So I called up, and Rip Rogers got a hold of me, and come the fuck down, And I followed him down through Indiana and started going for like every 6 weeks until I was like, all right, I got to move here and do it, because Brock had just left, Cena had just left. So at that time, it was like Eminem and Ryback, Cody Rhodes, Sean Spears, ODB, Beth Phoenix.
That's a great class to be over there with.
Yeah, dog. Punk would show up every weekend, Johnny Nitro, and plenty more, unbelievable talents that I'm not even naming right now. And also at that time, Robert Gibson was there training. Dr. Death was helping out. There were so many good people there. I want to call him Stu Sanders, Bad News Barrett, Drew McIntyre. That class was crazy.
Seth, I think, too?
Seth, no, Seth was
the next one?
Yeah, when they moved to FCW, that's when he came on in Florida. But it just didn't stop of who was walking through the door. Jake Hager, another, like, he was a top guy at that time too.
Every name you just named, it's like everybody who's watching knows these people.
Yeah. So there was those guys that were the contract class, and then there were people who were there on their own dime like me, and I just wanted to become the next kind of Vince Russo and like use all my improv influence to bring to wrestling what I know could be different than anything anybody had ever seen before and change the game. And we were training with Rip, and Rip was kind of disgruntled. He wanted to take a bunch of have-nots and give them a better wrestling psychology than anybody in WWE had, so he could kind of stick it up their ass. So out of that came brilliant minds in wrestling, people who were there on their own dime. JTG from Crime Time.
Hell yeah.
Santino Marella, shot of a huge, unbelievable guy, like shoot fighter, judo fighter who got over with a, you know, Serena Deeb, obviously, wife number 2, and, you know, plenty more who got themselves signed. And we were all there living the dream together in like these apartment complexes 2 miles from the arena. So it was, like college, a wrestling college, pretty much, you know.
Wrestling frat house.
Yeah, so I went to college, then got a master's degree in comedy, and then a master's in wrestling.
That's amazing.
And I wrote maybe 120 episodes of OVW while I was
amazing.
there. So,
I mean, that's really cool too, and that kind of touches on a few more of my questions throughout here. But you can kind of show your mind. You know what I mean? Like you started, like you said, you wanted to have Vince Russo. You know what I mean? You want to be the next Vince Russo. So you weren't even necessarily thinking about the in-ring competition. You want to come from improv, comedy, things like that. You want to be a writer, things like that. And that's amazing because even me, I started off making music. Now I'm doing all this camera stuff and loving it this way. So it's really cool to hear Ben, you know what I mean, even say like, this is what I was there for, and it's cool because you got a wonderful career out of just going there. I mean, and that comes to my next question too. Like, so you did work at OVW, and you kind of answered it. You know what I mean? You were learning and trying to, you know what I mean, gauge yourself here. Did you develop the character in improv, or was it in OVW? Because I can see a lot of that on mic skill come from improv. But where did the character come from?
yeah, that's interesting, right? Good question. So we were doing stuff with Nice Peter in Chicago, and it was very post 9/11, anti-Bush, like comedy rock, very Tenacious D stuff at the time. Before
Love Tenacious D, man.
Yeah, well,
Pick a
right
Destiny.
now they got a lot of heat, but you know, regardless, this is 2004. You know what I mean? And things are taking off with that. So there wasn't the character there, but the fundamentals of anti-war profiteering, you know, the Patriot Act that took away so many social liberties, you know, and all the spy stuff began. We were doing that kind of anti-Bush rhetoric stuff. So when I got to OVW in the crowd, we would have to sit there as young boys, or not so young boy, I guess, to seat fill. And there was Muhammad Ali Vaez and, well, I'll say Omar and Ali Akbar, Khalil Gaspard, shout out to Khalil. And Rip goes, you 3 are going to be the Packies. So Ali was that, Khalil wanted to be Omar, and I just took my name, Benjamin, and made it Ben Hamin, like Bin Laden, and the double entendre of Ben Hamin, of like, there's a lot of layers to everything I do, you know?
No,
like
I love that.
So, and it's what you want it to be. And sometimes people find things that aren't there that reveal themselves, you know, as time goes on. So it seems predetermined. And I like that too, because that's all part of my improv training, which is different than how normal people think in a yes and lifestyle, looking for patterns and active listening. There's a lot to it, and it could have changed wrestling. But, you know, they put us together, and then there was another guy that came, Turkan Celik, who became my bodyguard, and then Serena Deeb is half Palestinian, so I kidnapped her and radicalized her, and we all became the insurgency, because every day on Fox News they would say insurgency, insurgency, insurgency. And then gas prices went from $2.25 to $4.25, and in Kentucky, bro, like, which is already rebel as shit.
Right.
You know, I played the most backwoods Kentucky, like rebel flags on tops of barns as you come into town and shit. And people are red hot because all they've watched is Fox News propaganda.
Right. And all they're hearing is insurgency.
You suck, Ben Hamin, and I can say a lot worse. Fuck you, Camel. You know, like, so that's 3-4 days a week, but that's what this character does, is let them get their PTSD out when we lose. But we got to get that heat, and all as gas prices go up, 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 and up. You know, and the lies keep coming. All I have to do is say say exactly what's on Fox in my normal Ben Hamin voice.
There you go.
And they go off, bro. They can't take it.
Well, just like Blaze said when we were talking, he said you put a turban on your head and it makes the heat real easy. And,
it's real easy.
That's an easy part. And then you play the part like these guys, man. And that's actually leading me right into my next question. Being one of the best heels that I've ever seen, how do you continue to draw heat for yourself so consistently? I know it's a lot of current events, but I'm telling you what, the heat is always hot over on your end, man.
Yeah, it never gets paid off, right? So, like, all you have to do if something dies down, you just have to wait a little while, and right around the bend is the next
Big catastrophic, yeah, it's crazy.
Vegas thing, right? The Vegas shooting.
I mean, just the other day.
The directed energy weapons, the assassination attempts, tugboats crashing into bridges, infrastructure falling down. If you go back and watch my earliest stuff, Ben Hamin, and I believe this in full circle patterns, I'm only here to destroy professional wrestling and end America. That is my mission. And is Vince McMahon at the head of professional wrestling? No. Did I end around him with Vince Russo and Stevie Richards to get to the USA Network president? Yes. Is AEW failing and lost half their audience? Yes. Is the president stepping down right now? And who knows what's going to happen with major attacks in the next 3 months? Yes. All this is easy to predict when you know the psychology of the players involved and you see the dominoes falling. And then all you have to do is say it when you touch those bruises, or you give them the jagged pill of truth because they've been swallowing propaganda even though they know this is what the truth is. There's nothing more they hate than having to look in the mirror and answer for exactly what their indiscretions are. That's how you stay hot. So whatever that string is to pluck during that time, you better come up with a smart way, comedic way, yeah, but at the same time, I would rather go for a groan, because a groan to me instead of a boo is like, oh, that hurt. Yeah. So, and I also believe in show don't tell very much because that's my improv training. And there was one, I think it was the Parkland shooting, right? And I had a show with Dynasty the next night, and there was probably like 8 little kids in the front. I mean, like 4 to 7-year-olds. It might not have been Parkland. It might have been S Hook. If you can't see that because Alex Jones got a billion. Sure. And I just walked out, and all the kids are boo because they just see the turban, and all their parents are there, and I just went. And everybody goes, because that is a reflection of their society that they made while judging a completely different culture and religion. And I don't put that over either because there's plenty to rib on that 100%. Way, right? So I have to stay in the middle, kind of punching both sides to be as smart as possible to give people back that, you thought you were in free and clear. No, because every great heel should be saying a truth that their character believes, not just making something up. And there's plenty out there to pick from that tree that people do not want to have to take a bite of.
Yeah, no, 100%. And if you ever heard some of his promos and in the ring on the mic skill, trust me, you can tell he feels some of this too, man. All right, it's not all an act. But coming off of that, if you also don't know, Ben is famous for these $5 face slaps. Where in the world did you come up with the $5 face slap?
Well, it's interesting because I saw other indie workers in the last 3 weeks doing chops, I think for money too. And it started in 2CW. I saw Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards of the American Wolves chopping marks after a show. And I go, just so they can have the big purple handprint and all the bragging rights or whatever. And I was like, why aren't you guys charging for that, And because those guys sell merch, they're studs. They've been on ROH and they're indie darlings, been all over the world, good dudes. But I just, as a heel, shouldn't even really be out there selling merch. Like, you should only see me, but, you got to make money to send back home for AK-47s. So these bullets aren't free. So I use it as a carnival barker thing. Like, I'll discipline your children, bring them over here. You'll stop wetting the bed, clean up all the dog poops off the lawn, stop your crying. Or then, like, fat guys walk by, like, you'll run a 5K tomorrow. I'll slap you. You have a full head of hair. Anything like that.
What do you wish?
Yeah,
moron.
Whatever your wish is, I'll grant it. If you give me $5 and I'll slap you. And man, there was never meant to really be a thing. And then Smart Marks, or whatever that means, started stepping up to test me and get it on camera, because it's lawsuit dangerous, in which really I don't do it anymore. like that they did, and it became part of the carnival barker thing. But I just quantify it as this: plenty of people, men and women, are into weird S&M shit, right? And they pay people whatever to tie them up and drip candle
Hook 'em.
wax on their
Yeah,
nose,
all sorts of
whatever.
weird stuff, yeah.
So it's no different than any private sex worker thing,
Right.
especially on camera, as far as that goes, right? Like,
Right.
you stepped up. What do you want more on? Give me the money.
You're
on.
willingly asking
Yeah.
for this, by the way.
And that's how bad people want to be part of the show.
Right, 100%.
They want, and so many are like, they think it's going to be a worked hit.
It's not.
It's definitely not.
I've seen people squabble,
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
people go on Bambi legs a little bit.
Yeah, people aren't used to getting hit in the face.
Ever,
Like,
yeah.
Well, if you're in here, you're used to it.
Yeah,
Dude,
but some people out there who's in the crowd, they
Shout-
might have never been in that
Shout out to
situation.
Muhammad Hassan, my guy. But we had a war in Dynasty, and I was his first match back, which was an honor. But bro, he cranked me in the head 5 times so hard, harder than I've ever been hit by anybody in the ring, because he hadn't worked in like 10 years, and my beard was
stiff
mad.
coming back?
Bro, stiff isn't the word for it. Maybe he really hated me then because I was doing his gimmick and he didn't get to. But he's so jacked, man. The guy's in and cry. He could walk on TV tomorrow if he wanted to. But in here, what it's like to get stiffed. Almost every match you're gonna take one. Civilians have no idea what an open hand slap is. Even that show, what's the
A power slap.
Power slap.
Which I don't know how. Listen, I love Dana. I don't know how the hell that's still on
yeah,
TV,
dog.
dude.
Like, and that's my other exhibit B of.
Yeah.
So like that shit, someone's gonna really die after one of those shows from the impacts. Those people are just standing there taking, like, but 3 women have stepped up to do it, man. Like, people just want to be part of the freak show so bad, and it's the adrenaline rush of it. And maybe there's something to be said that we all need a little slap for our
Some, yeah,
indiscretions.
sometimes we do.
Yeah. So it became a weird thing, but now I never did it, and your favorite indie workers are doing it. So
Hats off. So, I mean, you touched on this a little bit earlier, too, with the Rodney Piper and all that you got to work with him. You've had big matches and moments in your career. What are some of the most favorite matches and moments, and that mean the most to you as well?
yeah, that was a huge moment. I see these crowds, and whether in the fans' eyes, oh, he wasn't on WWE. I've been Hamin since day one. And your favorite wrestlers can not really say that, even from the prototype to John
100%.
Cena.
Yep.
So that's something I hang my hat on, because that open wound is PTSD for everybody of fake wars, and we're still don't have 9/11 truth or what have you. So to me, to get to work Hacksaw Jim Duggan has been nothing short of a miracle. I remember sitting in OVW with Ali and Khalil, and being like, dude, wouldn't it be awesome? We got this thing to get to where we could work Slaughter and Duggan. My opening weekend in 2CW, which was Brody Lee's last shows, and I'm so honored to have been on those shows, was my debut. Night 1 was Duggan. Night 2 was Sergeant
That's
Slaughter.
crazy.
So
You put him in the camel clutch.
yeah, and no, I have before, not that night
Okay,
though. I had to get the fuck away. So he almost got me in the Cobra clutch, and they pulled me out of it. Slaughter did. So, and that was in Watertown in front of a huge,
Yeah, 2C
and-
Dub.
right, and 2C Dub, and still kind of peak post-war.
Right.
It was a lot like that night. So there was a lot of pressure on that, and it was great. And 2CW was just unbelievable times. Another time we did 2CW at my dad's Woodsman show in Boonville. My dad was kind of like the Vince McMahon of the Woodsman's industry for 20 years, putting on the world championships. Like 40,000 people show
That's
up,
amazing.
So I know how to run big shows because of that. So I was the only real lumberjack match possibly since the lumberjack camps, and my dad with other pro lumberjacks were on the outside with the 2CW guys. The Hacksaw chucked me out. My dad beat the shit out of me hard. Like, my dad doesn't know how to throw a working shit. He was a state champion wrestler. He just laid the shit in. But that almost brings a tear to my eye because not a lot of guys get to do that. When I see the Miz or Cena got to do that, like I understand how important.
That felt,
yeah,
100%.
dude. Like at any level. So that was cool to be maybe in the only real lumberjack match in the last 100 years with real lumberjacks.
Real lumberjacks, yeah.
But there are other pro guys at ringside that beat the fuck out of me stiff too. And Tracy Smothers, I beat him in a dance-off as well at 2CW, so rest in peace, Tracy Smothers. Just to be in the ring in the presence of these guys is incredible, opportunities. And then getting a tag with my Conspiracy Horseman brothers with GGP and Stevie Richards and Big Sal versus the FBI and some other tag teams. Those were phenomenal memories as well. And what Blaze and I have done, thankfully Blaze can go because I'm an old man now, but getting older, I can just mastermind things, and him and Z-Woo can carry out the attacks, So I've been doing this for a minute. Even to go back to my OVW stuff, I got sockoed by Mick Foley. John Cena was at the show and wanted to work us, and I was working a program with Pat Buck and Rob Conway, who I definitely owe a big gratitude to because he had come off the road from WWE, and we were green as shit, and he took a lot of time to build the tag division and teach us tag wrestling. So it was a flag match on 4th of July at Darien Lake. There's like 3,500 people because Cena was the headliner, and Cena saw us. He was coming out with Marines and a Humvee, and he looked at me and he's like, I want to fucking F you, that guy. And Danny Davis, owner of OVW, goes, nope, you're not gonna. They got a flag match earlier, So I was this close. Still to work Rob Conway in my first year is unbelievable. And we got one of the biggest pops of the night when I'm climbing up in the suit to get the flag turn and get gorilla press slammed off the top. Like that was a dream come true just to be on the show with him, But that was when Cena was at his hottest, 2008 maybe, And when I came out, even the fans were like, they could see where we were. I probably shouldn't have been, but we all were marking out to see this match. And the fans were like, go fuck him up. Like they wanted us bad to go down. But
the scene Hacker Hamin versus the Marine, that would be pretty dope. Dude.
Yeah, dude. So that was just an honor that those guys want to do something with you,
100%.
like especially when they see there's where the money is. But to stick with this gimmick has also probably prevented me from making it to a WWE on camera personality. But whatever, man. I've had great times and unbelievable moments, and nobody can take them away from me. So
100%. That's an incredible career. I mean, this guy's one of the most influential wrestling minds, maybe to ever do it, definitely around here. One piece of advice to the viewers, maybe on the fence about watching pro wrestling and maybe on the fence about training pro wrestling.
Yeah, man. Definitely have something that you can do outside of pro wrestling, that's going to be able to pay your bills and that fulfills you, You can get into this at any level you want. If you just want to be on the road once a month or whatever, you want to go every weekend, or if you're ready to, you don't have family ties and you're ready to pack up and go to anywhere, all these territories from Vegas to Chicago to Florida to here in upstate New York, have great training facilities to OVW, and you can really become a journeywoman wrestler. And if you're willing to live out of your suitcase and move every 3 months, that may be the fastest way to get to Japan, to international bookings, to learning different styles, because you can get trapped in one style if you only stay in a territory for so long. OVW is very southern, old school style, Jim Cornette style, Rip Rogers style, for TV, for WWE, which is the best, in my opinion, to learn. But when you come back up here, it's 2CW, ECW, you know what I mean?
Doesn't really translate to
No, you got to be, these fans are smart. They're not old school.
Marks out here.
So you got to be on your toes at any given moment to switch gears on them, because they want to go, oh, he got over on me. They want to see how smart you are. Thankfully, these infidels can't compete. Then you go up to Canada, 5 hours away, and it's WWF 1995 there. Larger than life characters, crowd interaction, one or two big bumps, pose down, and it's very cold in the wintertime to bump. But it's if you stay in one territory, you're never going to know. Then you go to Mexico, which I haven't yet, but shout out to my man Conan, maybe down the road that may be helping out with some stuff there too. So, but yeah, man, that's how the fastest way to get the best education in 2024, where when I went 2006, there was OVW, maybe one or two other credible schools at the time. If you went and searched out the Samoans, or you went to Johnny Rod's or someplace in the city, you know, but now it's a completely different journey.
It's amazing. And that's for the people who's thinking about training. What about the people on the fence
come
about
here to
watching?
UWE, man. UWE in upstate, it's a great little spot to get some ring time. So
On the fence about watching wrestling now too.
You know, we need wrestling to be cool to bring people back in. Like a lot of times they're mailing in these shows. I watch it every week to sit with two minds that I respect so much and great friends, Stevie Richards and Vince Russo, at channelattitude.com to review Raw, SmackDown, and then on the Hamin Media Group side, I watch Dynamite. And there's so much potential, but they only get about 20% of the value out of what they try and do, you know? So because they shift gears or rewrite, or sometimes you have to because somebody gets hurt or card subject to change, whatever it is. But the way people kind of ruin storylines using social media poorly and not enhancing what the investment is in them, and then there's all these excuses of, well, I'm a performance artist, or you don't have to see movie stars, or that we're not in that. This is a different medium altogether, and that's why I have to do the CIA persona so these interviews can get out, because the real me is too much for somebody, and they make me do this. So
Stop watering them down, man.
Like, I guess it comes down to believability, because we just spin our wheels until the Rock and Roman comes back. Everybody knows this is kind of a mailed-in time, right? You know, so, or the embarrassment of Vince McMahon's NDA indiscretions. Do you really want to be tied to that, where you got a daughter at home, and then this company is kayfabe and illicit behaviors and acting like it's the family show, when the reality is the same old backstabbing of the wrestling mafia will always go on. So that's really the show, and they'll never put that on air. You know, they only allude to it with like groups like the Inner Circle or what have you. You know, like those are real terms.
Yeah.
But people don't understand the politics that it takes to get your storyline over just to go out and do some rolling around in tights with a guy. Yeah. You know, people are backstage are more addicted to that part of it than anything else. So for the people at home, if you like it for escapism, you like what you like. Some people like Disney stuff. Some people like whatever. Star Wars. You only get so many trips around the sun. If that's what gets you off, then absolutely do it. Do I wish there was more mainstream stuff? I think they've done some good stuff. The Johnny Knoxville stuff was great. The Logan Paul stuff, that kid's
amazing.
Unbelievable.
Jeez.
For how good he should be. The CIA front that is Bad Bunny, I don't know. I don't get it, but he did a great job too.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And the Saudi stuff, which they'll end up owning everything soon anyway.
Weird,
so
yeah, it's really crazy. He knows what happened.
Yeah.
He's the mastermind behind it.
Yeah, dog. So, to each their own. You like what you like, and sometimes it's going to be great, and sometimes it isn't. And, you know, we wait for those big moments, but sometimes there's so much more money on characters like a Tony Storm and things like that.
She's amazing.
Yeah, but they have already passed by what should have taken a year. They're already a year ahead of where they should be. And that's what I mean with money left on the table and entertainment, and things just get shotgunned so fast, or else they just are on loop of like, all right, they're losing this week, so they're losing next week. Like, just till we get to SummerSlam.
Yeah, whatever.
So I understand the fatigue of it, because I've haven't missed a week in 39 years, but I don't know. It seems like some things are great, and then other things are like kindergarten. Like the Wyatt stuff is unbelievably produced.
Yeah, it is, and especially that's like one of my favorite storylines right now. But I feel like when they start to actually wrestle,
That's a problem, right? Everything should be cinematic. Everything should be in the funhouse world that Bray set up. Because once you take that mystic out, now you're on the backside down. So when Russo and Stevie and I were working on Retribution, that was all supposed to be Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Occupy Wall Street, and Fight Club all in one thing with Raw Underground, Retribution, and the attacks. 3 weeks, they did the first attacks that we kind of laid out that they suggested. And then after that, they put them in the ring and they were making animal faces after that. That's not anything. Did you ever see anybody in Antifa making animal faces at the camera? You know, there was supposed to be Occupy NXT and all this other stuff that went with it. And the Hurt Business was supposed to kind of be how The Rock's Ballers was, with respectable, no more shucking and jiving for black athletes that are at a high businessman level who are dealing with billions of dollars. Right. Those guys had to do some hustle to get there. 100%. They just don't sit around and act like fucking idiots with that kind of money. So what is a respected black athlete, top tier blue chipper? Well, that's Bobby Lashley. 100%. That's Titus O'Neil, MVP. And instead, it goes where it goes, you know. And you could have mixed Black Lives Matter in with that. And this is the improv in me. The work, Del Close, the father improv, would say, the work can handle anything if you approach it with the right respect. And that's what my entire id of my character is.
100%.
Yeah. And those guys deserved something better. And people at home deserve something at that level. So if we can produce something at the Wyatt level with pre-produced, everybody else's stuff, even if it's comedy or if it's film noir, like it should be that standard. You can't have the 12th grade level production and kindergarten on the same show.
100%.
And that's one of the biggest problems we need to overcome.
It's a very good point. I like the way you put that. Listen, man, I appreciate your time. Hamin Media Group, Ravens Joint, involved in different podcasts. Yeah,
Ravens Joint, put that right here, ravensjoint.com.
There it is.
The best cannabis in New York State.
Syracuse, New York. It'll be in the description, too. Tell people what you got coming up, what you got going on, and how to follow you.
Yeah, definitely follow at Ravens Joint. I think at Ravens Joint number 2 because the first one got scrapped on
pictures
Instagram.
Of a pup.
Yeah. For sure. Look for Raven, the black lab on there. You'll know you're in the right spot. But yeah, HMG's banging, and channelattitude.com if you love wrestling reviews or you want to hear me and Vince Russo. And I also give a shout out to all our good brothers out there. I've been on Cafe de Rene with Rene Dupree and K100 with Disco and Conan, really, and Kenny Boland's Bowling Alley. I love all that synergy, so I'm glad you're doing this too, man.
Appreciate you.
And it's about keeping that hardcore internet wrestling fan audience fed with breakdowns and the news and reviews, and it ain't over yet with the McMahon stuff, so there's never been a better time to subscribe to hear all the real shoot bang bang. If that's what you're into, that's what we do every week, and break down segments on every show at a high level, director's kind of cut. So if you're a diehard psycho wrestling fan, Hamin Media Group's the way to go, and you'll hear my producers. And we have a great Facebook group as well that does all pick'em challenges, and it's just for the best wrestling fans who aren't down with all the super mark shit every week,
100%. And listen, 3 great wrestling minds, Russo, Richards. It's a great podcast.
The consultants, allegedly. Yeah, you can hear the consultants on Patreon. I haven't updated Patreon in a while, but I actually go through the notes that we sent to the USA Network president every week, and you can see where ideas that made it to TV, that even the people who carried them out had no idea they were coming from there.
Right.
And you can see what the original intent was versus the end product, So, y'all, I sell weed now. I don't give a fuck what they do.
There you go, man. Again, thanks for doing this, my brother.
Gio.
And leave us off with a little promo to cut. Tell them to watch Hell in the Pod.
Yes, that's right, morons. You're watching Hell in the Podcast. Raise your hand, put it in the air, and slap your own moron face, because you're less than nothing. Hacker Hamin, Gio the Gump, here, Hell in the Pods. YOLO!
Thanks for watching Hell in the Pod, the culturally extreme wrestling podcast.